Hey, welcome back to the show. I hope you're having a good week so far. Got a good topic for you today on the podcast. This is for you if you've decided you need a website and you are trying to figure out what to do next. And first, I just have to say congratulations. If you have decided you need a website, you are on the right track. There are many ways to be found online with social media these days and like online directories and Google Maps, if you're a physical location. But there really is still no replacement for a website because a website is going to make you more searchable, more easily found online because people still use Google. We know, though people are searching on TikTok and all that, people are still searching on Google quite a bit to find answers to their questions and to find service providers and businesses and products to solve their problems. So a website is what helps you get found. A website is also going to make you more reputable in the eyes of your customers. If you don't have a website, people will have a hard time really trusting you and taking you seriously and wanting to send you money if they can't learn more about you via a website. A website's also going to allow you to form relationships with visitors so that they can know that you really are the right person for solving their problems. A website also allows you to clearly lay out your services and guide people into your desired sales process. Whether you want people to book a call or send you a message or apply, you get to call the shots because you're making it very clear on your website what you want people to do. And that really helps your customers and it streamlines your sales process so you can have more leads and more customers coming through without you having to manage everything so manually. A website's also going to answer sales questions before people even click to buy or book a call. So that's really also going to optimize your process and make people feel a lot more confident moving forward because they got a lot of their questions answered. And it's also going to allow you to collect email addresses so that you can stay in touch with anyone who isn't ready to buy. I've talked about this a bit in some prior podcast episodes about the importance of building your email list and using your website to do it. So those are all the reasons. If you aren't convinced that you need a website, hopefully by this point you are. And so then the next question is, okay, well, what do I do next? Like what goes on the website? What platform do I use to create the website? It can feel really overwhelming at this stage because creating a website really is a big deal. There's a lot of decisions and pieces of information that go into it, and you may not even realize it until you are in the thick of it and feeling super overwhelmed. So we are going to try and address some of that here today, but I will say that if you want to have really all of those steps and have all of those decisions really laid out for you and have me walk you through that whole process, I do have a class on what you need to turn all of your ideas into this cohesive, beautiful website that actually gets you clients. I'll even be giving you a step-by-step roadmap in the class as well. And so the class is called the Client Generating Website Formula. It is happening August 20th and 21st. So it's still a ways off, but I will be opening registration next week. So if you want to be sure that you get your seat, then you can go to the link in our show notes to get on our email list. That's where we'll be sharing the registration details. If you are listening to this a little later, we will also have the registration link in the show notes of this call, depending on when you're listening. So I hope to see you in the class as well. But today I want to help you prepare for that class. Because before you even think about actually creating your website, there are some decisions that you really need to make to have the whole process go a lot more smoothly. And that's really what we're going to be talking through today. What are those very first steps to take to get started with your website? And then once you've done those, you can come to my class to get all the detailed steps for what comes next. All right, so the first decision, who do you serve? Who is your ideal customer? This also goes along with the niche that you are selecting for your business. So if you are a bit unsure right now about your niche or you're picking between a few different ideas, definitely go and listen to last week's episode where I really go into niching in a lot of detail and all the questions that you can ask yourself so that you can get clear on your niche. So I won't go over that again today, but I do want to give you some pointers when it comes to getting clear on your ideal customer. And the reason that we're doing this is that by deciding on who we serve and getting clear on our ideal customer, we can make sure that the words that we use on our website, our branding, the services that we decide to go and launch are actually aligned with that person. So this is like a number one major point. We need to get clear on this before we really make too many other decisions. So Some simple things that you can do, some questions to ask yourself to get this clarity, is to first describe who is the kind of person your business serves. So what is going on in this person's life? What's their personal life like? What are they struggling with? What are their goals? Where do they go for help? What are some things that they've been trying and working on? And I will say that if you have time, pause the podcast now and journal on some of these things, or you can come back to answer all these questions. More questions though coming. Why haven't the things that this ideal customer, why are the things that they've been trying, why haven't those things worked? What are the things that are missing from the solutions that are out there for them that they've been trying, but it's just not been working? And why is your solution going to be the right fit for this person? What are some objections or concerns that this person may have about working with you, or just may have about your solution in general, but then also why you specifically? And really be thinking about, what do they need to hear to feel confident about becoming your customer? What are those things they need to hear, those messages they need to see? What are those things that are going to make them feel like, okay, this is right. She's the one, she or he's the one for me. And what would make your ideal customer choose you and choose your solution over someone else? It's a lot of questions there, but like I said, when you have time, re-listen to this part and pause after each question and do a bit of journaling and then go on to the next one. Because brainstorming and doing some free thinking here will really help you get that clarity, so that when you move into branding or copywriting or designing a lead magnet or coming up with blog post ideas, you'll already have thought through some of these ideas and phrases and kind of positioning statements that you're going to use that is really just going to flow through everything that you create. All right, so that's the first decision. Who are you selling to? Next decision, what are your services? What are you selling to these people that you just described? And the reason we need to know this before going into our website may seem obvious. If we don't know what we're selling, it's going to be hard to create a website around that. But truly, and this is something that I work on with my students in my website program, a lot of the heavy lifting for a website comes from the strategy part and the decision on the strategy when you're just getting started. So what do I mean by that? How are we laying out the homepage with the services? How many services are going to be there? How are we going to organize them and have it flow so it makes sense? Are we then directing people to a single services page with more details on each of those services? Or is each service really kind of unique and on its own? And is each service going to have its own page? And what's our sales process? Do we want people to book a call or apply or do some other kind of action in order to move forward with that service? And then are we also selling courses or group programs or downloadable materials? How does all of that fit into the entire picture of what we're selling from the website? And think through what you want to offer. How are these services going to meet the needs of your ideal customer? What's the benefit of this service? And then what are the key aspects of this service that someone would want to know, like what the service includes, and then how do they move forward? Is it the discovery call, application, the purchase? So the more that you can have ideas for these things, the easier it will be to write the copy for your website and get that overarching strategy in place. And then the clearer you are with all of this, the better your website is going to perform with converting visitors into customers. So if you're not clear on what your services are and how they all fit together and how you want people to actually move forward to work with you, then it's going to be really hard to make that clear on your website. And in turn, it's going to not be clear to your customers. And if there is confusion for people when they are on your website and they can't figure out exactly what you do and how you can help them and how to move forward, then they're going to leave your website and go to a competitor who has laid it out more clearly. So we don't want that. We want us to be the obvious choice. And so that's where getting this clarity up front is going to help you in the long run. And then we have our final decision. Which platform are we going to be building our website on? So WordPress is my recommendation here because it's the most flexible and the best for SEO. Most people, though, sometimes they go to Squarespace or Wix or Weebly thinking that, especially when starting out, those platforms are more user-friendly and more beginner-friendly. But honestly, they can be pretty technical too. And then when your business has grown and maybe you want to do more blogging to create passive income, or you want to add a shop or a membership or add new functionality, suddenly you find that these beginner platforms are just that. They're for beginners. And then you're stuck with, oh no, now I need to move my whole website to WordPress or another platform, or pay someone to try and custom code things into Squarespace, or I need to start finding other software solutions that will work because my website can't do what I want it to. So I say start on the platform that you can stay on for life and have someone set it up for you, and use a theme and a page builder that's really flexible and user friendly, so you can still know how to make all the edits that you need on your own in the future. So you have still that ownership of being able to edit your own site. We still want that. And also know that as your business grows, you can always keep adding to your existing website rather than having to start from scratch on WordPress once you outgrow those other platforms. And that's exactly what we do in our program, the Wellness Pro Website System. We have drag and drop templates that are just so beautiful, but also fully customizable to your business branding and strategy. Add the pages that you want, move things around. So we set up your site on WordPress for you, and then we give you lessons walking you through just how to edit and customize it. And then we also provide ongoing maintenance and support for you and your website after you launch it, so you can know that we're taking care of the tech stuff and we're available to answer questions or help you add more complex things as you grow. But you are the one that actually knows how to make all the edits, change out photos, change the copy, add new pages. You have all of that at your fingertips. You can watch the videos at any time. You have access to those for life. You can make new pages and all of that. And that way you have that ownership over your site. And if you did happen to start your website on one of these other platforms and you've been blogging for a little bit, like on Squarespace, but it turns out, hey, I do want to be on WordPress, we will help you migrate your blog posts over to WordPress for you. So that's an add-on service. It's just a one-time service depending on how big your prior site was and where it was. So that's something too. So don't feel like you are trapped on one of these other platforms, but I will say that the sooner you can make the move over to WordPress, the better, because the more content and the more, it's just like moving into a house and getting really comfortable and all of that and getting it set up exactly how you want. And then it's kind of more difficult to move because you've accumulated a lot of stuff and now you need a big moving truck instead of just using the back of your car. So that's why it's like, okay, start on WordPress if you can, but if you can't, just as soon as you're able, move over to WordPress so that you can be building that long-lasting foundation. And if you do want to hear me talk more about WordPress and why I always recommend it above other platforms, you can also go and check out episode 1 of this podcast, and I really detail a lot of that there. So there you go. The 3 decisions that you need to make in order to be ready to create a website. Once you have these settled, it's time to organize everything and actually begin creating your website. And that process is what I'll be covering in my upcoming class that I mentioned. So more details will be coming next week. But if you want to get the registration link emailed to you so that once it opens, you can get in there, be sure to sign up to our newsletter, which is linked in the show notes. And then this is my final parting thought for you, because I think sometimes too, it's like you need to decide, and it may feel like you have to make these decisions and these are the decisions that you're stuck with for life. That is not true. Your website is always going to evolve and change. These decisions that you make today, who your ideal client is, what your services are, they are going to evolve and grow as you do. Every business grows and evolves. What I do today is vastly different than what I did 6 years ago when I was starting my business. Yes, I still serve nutrition entrepreneurs, but how I serve them, how I speak to them, my branding, that has changed. But you know what's always been the same is I've always been on WordPress. And so I've always been able to make the changes that I needed to make. And I've been able to evolve my site as my business has evolved and grown. So the important thing is really just get your website out there. I always say, because some of our students, they will get hung up on making these perfect decisions, getting the copy exactly right. And I say a launched website is a successful website. If you are hemming and hawing over these decisions, and I get it, I feel you, like I can hem and haw over decisions in my business too. But the important thing is to get it out there and pick a platform that's flexible enough and that you're comfortable enough with being able to change in the future. And that's really where WordPress and specifically our program, the Wellness Pro website system, really shines. Get that website out there, make these decisions, and then start running your business, interacting with your customers, and learning and then evolving and changing your services up, changing how you're relating to your customers, how you're speaking to them, the copy on your site. You can change all of those things as time goes on. And so if that sounds good to you, getting a system like the one that I talk about that's in our program, we will be opening doors for the Wellness Pro website system very soon. So if you'd like to check that out, head to wellnessprowebsite.com and put yourself on the wait list for that, and you'll be the first to know when the doors open, and we will be opening those very soon. So I hope that this has helped you. I hope this helps you kind of come up with some of these decisions, or even if you feel like you've maybe made some of these decisions, but some of these questions that I posed to you today are questions that you actually didn't end up answering when you were starting your business. Maybe it's just a good idea to go back and revisit some of those things, because the more clarity you can have about who your customers are and how they think and what they need, the better you will be at reaching them and speaking to them and forming that connection that is so important for them to really feel like you are that choice for them. And that's when marketing gets easier, selling gets easier, and your business grows. All right. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.